I freeze in the doorway of my mother's home office, my hand still on the brass doorknob. The late afternoon sun streams through plantation shutters, casting prison bar shadows across the mahogany desk where Mother sits, a cream envelope between her manicured fingers. My envelope, my invitation. Mercy. She doesn't startle, doesn't apologize. Instead, she slides the envelope beneath a leather folio with practiced elegance. I didn't hear you come in. I step into the room, breathing in the familiar scent of lemon furniture polish and Mother's Chanel perfume. Is that my invitation to the family reunion? Mother's fingers tap once against the desk hertel when she's calculating a response. The organizers must have made a mistake. You know the lightning round is for significant business developments only. And you decided to intercept my mail to correct their error? I keep my voice steady, though my heart hammers against my ribs. She sighs, exasperation tightening the corners of her mouth. Darling, this is a table for millionaires, you don't belong. The words hang in the air between us, sharp and final. I've heard variations of this sentiment my entire life. Yet somehow, hearing it stated so plainly still cuts like a fresh wound. Victoria appears in the doorway behind me, her tailored pantsuit immaculate, not a strand of her chestnut hair out of place. Mom, the car is. She stops, taking in the tension. Oh, mercy, I didn't know you were coming by. Apparently no one did, I say quietly. Victoria's gaze flickers between Mother and the partially hidden envelope. Understanding dawns in her eyes, followed immediately by a defensive hardening. Stay in your lane, Mercy, don't embarrass us. I stand perfectly still, feeling the weight of 33 years of similar moments pressing down on me. The side tables at family gatherings. The polite introductions that minimized my research to Mercy's little science project. The Christmas when Father patted my head condescendingly after I announced my medical research fellowship instead of joining Allen Enterprises. I see, I say finally, surprised by the calm in my voice. I turn and walk out, my sensible heels clicking against marble floors that have witnessed 3 generations of Allen family success. Behind me, I hear Victoria's hushed voice. She'll get over it. She always does. Back in my modest apartment, I drop my keys into the ceramic dish by the door and kick off my shoes. Research papers cover my coffee table, sticky notes marking critical data points. My life couldn't look more different from the chandelier-lit mansion I just left. The Allen family built their fortune in telecommunications, then diversified into real estate and venture capital. Growing up, dinner conversations revolved around market shares and acquisition targets. My siblings thrived in that environment. I withered. I remembered the hours spent creating PowerPoint presentations for my brother's business school projects, my sister's investment pitches. No one ever asked about my biochemistry degree or the cardiac support device I was developing. When I declined a position at Allen Enterprises to pursue medical research, my father's disappointment was palpable. You're throwing away your birthright, he'd said, as if the Allen name alone guaranteed success. My phone buzzes with a text from James, my business partner at MedAllen Labs. It's happening. The press release drops during the reunion. $1.5 million licensing deal, plus royalties. You ready for this? A surge of vindication warms my chest. 3 years of 14-hour days, grant rejections, and prototype failures have led to this moment. A cardiac device that will help thousands of patients, created despite my family's dismissal of my work as inconsequential. I cross to the closet and slide open the door, eyeing my limited professional wardrobe. My hands tremble slightly as I push hangers aside, searching for something appropriate. I've never attended the lightning round, the 5-minute presentations where family members showcase their business achievements. Mother always said my work wasn't substantial enough to warrant inclusion. Yet beneath my office desk calendar lies the invitation she thought she'd hidden one I'd requested directly from the organizers last month. I'd known Mother would intercept the mailed copy. I select a burgundy blazer, remembering Aunt Mari's words from years ago. Never let them take your voice away. I reach for my phone and dial the reunion coordinator. Hello, this is Mercy Allen. I'm confirming my place in the lightning round. I pause, letting determination strengthen my voice. Some traditions never change. A week later, on the reunion day, I stand paralyzed outside the gleaming doors of the Westbrook Hotel ballroom, watching my family through the glass like specimens in an aquarium. Victoria tosses her head back in practiced laughter at something our cousin Richard says, while Father claps the shoulder of a silver-haired investor. Mother glides between social clusters, her champagne flute barely disturbed by her movements. My chest tightens, as if bound by invisible wires. 1 year since I've attended a family function. 365 days of blessed freedom from their dismissive glances. Just breathe, I whisper to myself, smoothing the lapels of my burgundy blazer. The fabric feels too warm against my clammy palms. Inside my leather portfolio hide printouts of the press release scheduled to drop in exactly 90 minutes. The timing must be perfect. I square my shoulders and pull open the heavy door. The attendant's eyebrows lift in surprise. Miss Allen? We weren't sure you were coming. I was invited, I reply, the words sharper than intended. The registration table buzzes with activity as cousins and business associates collect their name badges. I wait patiently while the attendant rifles through alphabetized stacks. I'm sorry, I don't see a badge for Mercy Allen. She shuffles through the papers again, her discomfort growing. Let me check the speaking schedule. I follow her gaze to the printed agenda. There, in the 7:15 slot where my name should appear, Gregory Phillips Investment Opportunities in Emerging Markets. My brother-in-law's name. Victoria's husband. There must be some mistake, I say, though we both know there isn't. Nearby, Father's voice carries as he speaks to Uncle Thomas. Mercy's work is academic, nothing substantial. The words slice through me like a scalpel. Clinical, precise, designed to remove what doesn't belong. Victoria catches my eye across the room. For a moment, something like guilt flashes across her face. Then she deliberately turns away, drawing her circle of admirers with her. The attendant touches my arm gently. Let me speak with the coordinator. She disappears, returning minutes later with a freshly printed badge and a whispered apology. Your speaking slot has been restored. 7:20 p.m. I clip the badge to my blazer, the small victory hollow against the broader betrayal. Mercy. The familiar voice washes over me like a balm. Aunt Mari crosses the room, arms outstretched. Her embrace smells of Shalimar perfume and understanding. I knew you'd come. They didn't think I would, I murmur into her shoulder. She pulls back, patting my cheek. Which is exactly why you must. Never let them write your story. Her eyes, the same clear blue as mine, spark with mischief. I saved you a seat. As we move through the crowd, a distant cousin David, who runs a hospital administration department in Boston, approaches. Mercy, I've been meaning to call you. I read your abstract in the Biomedical Journal last month. The potential applications for rural hospitals are fascinating. Before I can respond, the family photographer interrupts. Miss Allen, could I get a photo of you with your sister? Mother appears behind him, touching his elbow. Just Victoria, with her father for now. The business succession narrative. Actually, the photographer says, positioning me beside Aunt Mari, I need a few shots of all the Allen women together. He winks so subtly I almost miss it. Across the room, elderly Uncle William, Father's oldest brother who sold his company shares years ago to travel the world, pulls out a chair at the main table and waves me over. This seat's for you, Mercy, between me and your aunt. I settle into the offered chair, aware of Mother's tightening lips as she watches from the entrance. The white tablecloth drapes perfectly to the floor, crystal glasses catching light from the chandeliers above. Place cards with gold lettering mark each setting expensive cardstock that feels too heavy in my hands. The room quiets as Father takes the microphone. Welcome, everyone, to our annual Allen family gathering. I'm proud to introduce my children, Victoria, whose property development firm has expanded to 3 states this year, and Thomas, whose hedge fund exceeded market projections by 18% last quarter. The silence where my name should be echoes loudly. Victoria smirks behind her champagne glass. Father raises his glass. To the Allen business empire continuing to thrive for generations to come. Applause ripples through the room. I clap mechanically, feeling Uncle William's hand pat my knee under the table. During cocktail hour, Victoria brushes past, whispering, This room is for real millionaires. What are you going to talk about? Lab experiments? I don't answer. Years of similar comments have built calluses over that particular wound. The coordinator announces dinner service will begin shortly, followed by the lightning round presentations. My name appears on the updated agenda, hastily added with a different font. I slip my phone from my pocket and text James, I'm ready. Let them hear it from me first. His response comes immediately. The press release is cued for 7:30 p.m. sharp. Show them what real impact looks like. When dinner begins, I take my rightful seat at the main table. Mother's eyebrows lift a fraction, the only outward sign of her irritation. Father pretends not to notice, deep in conversation with the man to his right. Aunt Mari reaches under the table to squeeze my hand. Remember what I told you when you were 10? The best revenge is excellence. I finish, smiling genuinely for the first time tonight. Around the table, conversations buzz about investments and acquisitions. I remain quiet, sipping water instead of wine. I need clarity for what comes next. The crystal glass feels cool against my lips as I watch the minutes tick by. At my feet, my leather portfolio holds the story that will change everything. I catch Uncle William watching me with knowing eyes. He raises his water glass in a silent toast. To the true future of the Allen family, he murmurs, too low for others to hear. I return the gesture, keeping my eyes on the clock. 20 minutes until I speak, 30 minutes until the press release, 31 minutes until nothing will ever be the same. I stand at the back of the ballroom, watching the organizer shuffle through index cards. Her brow furrows as Mother leans close, whispering something that makes the woman's eyes dart toward me. Your mother suggested we might move your presentation to the end of the evening, she says when I approach. Something about giving the more established ventures priority. My stomach tightens. My confirmation email shows 7:20 p.m. That's my slot. She glances at Mother, who has conveniently drifted away. Of course, Miss Allen. Just keep it brief. I check my watch. 7:15. 5 minutes until I take the stage. 5 minutes until the press embargo lifts. The timing couldn't be more perfect or more terrifying. Father approaches the podium, tapping the microphone. The family gathering quiets immediately. Allen, respect for hierarchy runs deep. We've heard some remarkable developments today, he says, nodding toward my brother and cousins. New acquisitions, expanding markets, the Allen legacy grows stronger. His eyes sweep the room, eventually landing on me with visible reluctance. And our youngest, Mercy, has some lab updates. A few polite chuckles ripple through the crowd. I watch Victoria deliberately check her phone as I walk forward. Two cousins whisper behind their programs, eyeing me with the same expression they'd give a child's science project. The microphone stands before me, the Allen family crest displayed prominently on the podium. Silence falls, not the respectful quiet my siblings received, but an uncomfortable lull. Someone coughs. A glass clinks. The photographer checks his watch. I clear my throat. Thank you for the introduction, Father. Father. My voice emerges stronger than I expect. The room shifts into focus. Aunt Mari's encouraging smile. The elderly uncle who always asks about my work. The distant cousins who never quite fit the Allen mold either. For 3 years, MedAllen Labs has been developing a cardiac support device that addresses ventricular insufficiency without invasive surgery. I press the remote, and my slides appear on the screen behind me. Not flashy market projections like Victoria's presentation, but clear medical illustrations. Current treatments require open-heart procedures with significant recovery time. Our device can be inserted through a catheter, reducing hospital stays from weeks to days. A few heads lift. Someone stops typing on their phone. The titanium mesh expands within the ventricle wall, providing structural support while allowing natural movement. It's particularly effective for patients too fragile for traditional surgery. I notice a cardiologist cousin leaning forward slightly, his bored expression giving way to professional interest. We've completed animal trials with a 94% success rate and secured FDA approval for initial human trials. The patent was awarded last month. More eyes turn toward me. Even Father has stopped checking his portfolio app. Clinical trials begin next quarter at Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins. I advance to a slide showing the prototype. The device weighs less than 6 grams but can support pressure equivalent to. The clock strikes 7:30. A phone buzzes. Then another. And another. Across the room, devices chirp and vibrate as the press release drops simultaneously on financial and medical news sites. Cousin Edward, always glued to his phone, reads aloud. MedAllen Labs signs $1.5 million licensing deal with Cardiotech International, plus royalties on future sales. Heads swivel between Edward and me. Mother's face drains of color. Father fumbles with his reading glasses, squinting at his own phone screen. I continue as though nothing has happened. The licensing agreement ensures nationwide distribution through established medical supply chains, making the device accessible to hospitals serving rural communities, not just urban centers. The room has transformed. Bodies lean forward, programs lower. The photographer, previously positioning for the perfect shot of Victoria, swings his camera toward me. My phone vibrates in my pocket, likely James watching the chaos unfold from our lab across town. I can almost hear his voice. You've earned this moment. Stand tall. Aunt Mari dabs at the corner of her eye with a cocktail napkin. The elderly uncle starts to applaud, a slow, deliberate clap that spreads hesitantly at first, then with gathering conviction. I close with the words we crafted for this moment. MedAllen Labs remains committed to advancing cardiac care through innovation, rather than tradition. Thank you for your time. The applause follows me back to my seat, not the thunderous ovation Victoria received for her real estate venture, but steady, thoughtful, and growing. Mother sits perfectly still, her champagne untouched. Father's face has settled into a mask I recognize from childhood disappointments, not anger, but the slowly dawning realization that he's miscalculated. My phone buzzes with incoming messages. James, they're calling from CNN Medical. The press release is everywhere. Dr. Larson at Johns Hopkins. Congratulations, Mercy. Well-deserved recognition. Aunt Mari. So proud of you, sweetheart. Your grandmother would have been too. Victoria's husband leans across the table. Mercy, why didn't you tell us this was happening? We could have coordinated the family PR strategy. Before I can answer, a silver-haired woman in an impeccable suit appears at my elbow. Elaine Donovan, whose venture capital firm backs half the startups in the room. Miss Allen, I'd love to hear more about your cardiac device. Do you have a card? Of course. I offer mine simple, white, with the MedAllen Labs logo I designed myself. She glances at it, then at Victoria, who has materialized beside us. You must be Mercy's sister. How wonderful to have such innovation in the family. Victoria's smile freezes in place. Yes, we're very proud. Two more investors approach, then a hospital administrator. Father attempts to join the conversation, but questions about ventricular support mechanisms leave him nodding vaguely. Across the room, Mother watches her carefully cultivated social circle gravitating toward me. The photographer captures the moment Mother isolated in her elegant dress, clutching her pearls, while I stand surrounded by engaged listeners. The real breakthrough, I explain to a particularly interested investor, isn't just the device itself, but the deployment method. We've simplified a complex procedure into something any cardiac surgeon can perform with minimal specialized training. The investor nods. That's where the real market penetration happens. Smart focus. From the corner of my eye, I see Mother signaling Father. Their silent communication system practiced over decades of social maneuvering now centered on damage control. But it's too late. The room has shifted. The PowerPoint slides continue cycling behind the next speaker, but half the audience keeps glancing my way. Phones are passed around showing the press release. Someone pulls up Cardiotech's stock price, already ticking upward on the news. For the first time in 33 years of Allen family gatherings, I am not the afterthought, not the disappointment, not the daughter who needs to stay in her lane. I am simply Mercy Allen, and I have earned my place at this table. The business card between my fingers feels like vindication made tangible. A healthcare venture capitalist just handed it to me, not to my father, a first in Allen family history. My presentation ended 15 minutes ago, but I'm still surrounded by a circle of curious investors and relatives who suddenly find my little science project fascinating. Your cardiac device could revolutionize post-surgical recovery, says Dr. Levinson, a second cousin I've barely spoken to at previous gatherings. I've got colleagues at Massachusetts General who'd be interested in clinical trials. I nod, keeping my voice measured. We've developed a robust testing protocol. Our device reduces recovery complications by 94% in animal studies. Behind Dr. Levinson's shoulder, I spot Father weaving through the crowd, drink in hand, his third scotch of the evening. His tie hangs slightly askew, a rare breach in his impeccable presentation. Mercy has always had a brilliant scientific mind. Father booms as he reaches our circle, clapping a heavy hand on my shoulder. I encouraged her interests from childhood. Remember that chemistry set, sweetheart? The chemistry set, he returned, because it was too advanced for a girl. the microscope that mysteriously disappeared after I spent more time with it than my homework. The science camp application he refused to sign because Allens don't sleep in cabins. Yes, father. I remember. I shift slightly, sliding his hand from my shoulder. Mother materializes on my other side, her Chanel perfume announcing her arrival before her voice does. Charles, come take a photo with Mercy and me, she calls to the family photographer. Her arm slips around my waist, her body angling to face the camera. Let's get one for the family newsletter. The same newsletter that cropped me out last Christmas. I stand rigid as the flash pops, capturing this performance of maternal pride. Mother's fingers dig slightly into my waist, a silent warning to play along. Mrs. Allen, would you mind stepping aside? Asks a woman in a tailored suit. I'd like to discuss potential applications with your daughter privately. Mother's smile remains fixed, but her eyes harden. Perhaps later. Family first, business second, our Allen motto. Actually, I say, gently extracting myself, I have time now. Shall we step over there, Miss Winters? As I walk away, Victoria intercepts, suddenly appearing in my path. Her voice carries just enough to reach nearby guests. Mercy, remember I mentioned that cardiac monitor idea years ago, when you were struggling with the initial design? She never mentioned anything of the sort. Actually, the concept originated from my research on mitochondrial regeneration. I reply, loud enough for others to hear, but I appreciate your interest now. Victoria's smile tightens like shrink wrap. Across the room, Great-Uncle Walter raises his glass. To Mercy Allen, his voice carries, silencing conversation, the future of the Allen legacy. Father downs his scotch in one swallow. Mother's fingers tremor slightly as she adjusts her pearl necklace. I watch cracks spreading through their carefully constructed narrative. For 33 years, they've insisted my path was insignificant. Now they scramble to claim credit for success they actively hindered. Aunt Mari appears at my elbow, her eyes sparkling with mischief. Remember when Mercy took apart the television remote at age 7? She asks the gathering crowd. Rewired it to control her bedroom lights? We should have known then she'd outshine us all. Mother's smile freezes. Father signals the bartender. Victoria retreats to a corner, typing furiously on her phone. As the evening progresses, I field questions about FDA approval timelines and manufacturing partnerships. Not once do I mention the grant applications my parents refused to endorse, or the family connections they withheld. My success exists despite them, not because of them. Mercy, darling. Mother corners me by the dessert table later, her voice honeyed with new respect. We should talk about your future with the family. Your success changes things. Indeed, Father adds, appearing behind her. I have connections who could help manage these new investor relationships. Victoria joins them, a united front of sudden support. We should present a unified Allen strategy going forward. The family brand could really elevate your product. I take a deliberate bite of chocolate mousse, savoring its bitterness. For years they insisted I didn't belong at this table. Now they want seats at mine. I'll consider it, I say finally, setting down my dessert spoon with a quiet clink against bone china. Their relieved smiles show they've mistaken consideration for acceptance. They don't realize that tonight has taught me something fundamental. I don't need their table anymore. I've built my own. 2 days later, I arrive at my parents' home exactly 5 minutes early, a habit ingrained from childhood. The Allen family values punctuality above all except, apparently, honesty. Father's silver Mercedes gleams in the circular driveway alongside Victoria's Range Rover, power on display. The housekeeper greets me at the door with a warmth my family rarely shows. Miss Mercy, they're waiting in the conference room. Of course they are. Not the living room where family discussions happen, the conference room where business deals are sealed. I follow her through the marble foyer, past the portrait gallery of Allen patriarchs, my sensible heels clicking against limestone floors. My messenger bag hangs heavy against my hip, loaded with evidence I've compiled over weeks. When I enter, they've arranged themselves like a tribunal. Father at the head of the polished conference table, Mother to his right, Victoria to his left. A PowerPoint presentation glows on the wall screen behind them. Allen Family Healthcare Initiative. Mercy, Father says, his voice clipped with professional enthusiasm. Right on time. I place my bag on the chair nearest the door and remain standing. I understand you wanted to discuss my company. Father stands, clicking a remote to advance his slide. I've prepared a presentation on leveraging the Allen name in healthcare. He gestures to a market analysis graph. There's substantial growth potential if we position MedAllen Labs under the umbrella of Allen Enterprises. Mother leans forward, pearls catching the recessed lighting. Darling, we've always wanted the best for you. This is about keeping success in the family, where it belongs. The same voice she used when explaining why I couldn't invite my college friends to holiday dinners. Victoria taps manicured nails against her tablet. I've drafted a press release announcing family backing of MedAllen Labs. We can position this as an Allen Enterprises healthcare division that's been in development for years. She slides a document across the table. The family name opens doors you can't imagine. I don't touch the paper. Instead, I unzip my bag and remove a leather portfolio, one gift from Father I've actually kept. Before we continue, I'd like to share some history. Father glances at his watch. We have investors waiting for our decision, Mercy. This won't take long. I extract a stack of printed emails and place them on the table. These are the responses to my initial funding requests from 3 years ago. Mother's eyes narrow. Ancient history isn't relevant to current opportunities. It's foundation for context. I spread the emails like playing cards. Father, this one is your response declining my seed funding request. Mother, this is your suggestion that I find something more suitable for an Allen. Victoria, this is you telling potential contacts not to waste time on Mercy's hobby. The room temperature seems to drop 10 degrees. I continue methodically, placing bank statements beside the emails. This is how I built MedAllen Labs without family money. Early grants, second mortgage on my apartment, 16-hour workdays. Next come legal documents. These are incorporation papers showing the company structure independent of Allen Enterprises. Father's face reddens. You've made your point. We underestimated your project. Now we're offering what you've always wanted: family recognition. No. The word hangs between us, simple and final. You're offering what you've always wanted: control of something valuable I created without you. Mother's fingers twist her pearls. We're your family. We deserve. You deserve nothing. My voice remains level while something molten flows through my chest. You had opportunities to be part of this journey. You chose exclusion instead. I reach into my bag one final time, extracting a slim USB drive. This contains recordings from family gatherings. The Christmas when Father laughed at my research fellowship. The Thanksgiving when Victoria told cousins not to discuss boring science at dinner. I set it beside the other evidence. I don't need these anymore. Father stares at the small device like it might explode. The leverage he assumed he had evaporates before his eyes. The Allen name means something. Mother whispers, social status shifting beneath her feet. Yes, it does. I gather my documents, returning them to my bag. To me, it's meant proving myself without the advantages you gave Victoria and Thomas. Victoria's face pales as she realizes I no longer need their approval. The family script is rewriting itself around us. I stand, shouldering my bag. My terms are simple. Respect my independence or have no place in my success. You can choose a genuine relationship or no relationship at all. Father opens his mouth, then closes it. For once, William Allen has no counteroffer. I acknowledge your past behavior without malice. I continue. But I won't allow it to continue. Silence stretches between us, thick with 3 decades of dismissal finally confronted. The cardiac device helps people who've suffered damage to their hearts. I move toward the door. Ironic, considering its creator had to protect hers from the people who should have safeguarded it most. I leave them at the table, stunned by the shattering of their control. The front door closes behind me with a soft click that feels more final than any slam. In my car, I exhale fully for what feels like the first time in years. My phone buzzes with a text from James. How'd it go? I start the engine before replying, exactly as expected, and exactly as needed. The weight of evidence I've carried for weeks has been transferred to its rightful owners. Whether they choose to bear it or discard it is no longer my concern. I pull away from the mansion, not looking back at the place where I never truly belonged. The road ahead belongs to me alone. Sunlight pours through the floor-to-ceiling windows of MedAllen Labs, illuminating the expanded research facilities I once only dreamed about. 1 year after the family reunion that changed everything, my footsteps echo confidently across polished concrete floors as I navigate between workstations. Researchers in white lab coats cluster around prototype cardiac devices. their faces animated with purpose rather than politics. Dr. Allen, the new pressure sensors arrived, calls Morgan, a brilliant engineer I recruited from a community college program. She holds up a package, her enthusiasm untempered by corporate hierarchy. I smile, still unused to hearing my name spoken with genuine respect. Perfect timing. Let's test them this afternoon. In my office, a glass-walled space designed for collaboration rather than isolation, the framed copy of our original patent hangs beside photos of patients whose lives our device has improved. No family portraits crowd these walls. Their absence feels like freedom. My phone buzzes with Aunt Mari's weekly check-in. Her text reads, "Proud of you every day, sweetheart." Unlike Mother's cautious attempts at connection always couched in comments about family image, Mari's support comes without conditions. I've learned to recognize the difference. Dr. James Weber, my business partner, appears in my doorway holding 2 coffee mugs. The Peterson Hospital chain wants to expand our contract, he announces, setting my coffee on the desk. Seems your presentation to their cardiac unit last month sealed the deal. Our presentation, I correct him, accepting the steaming mug. This has always been a team effort. The words feel important, a deliberate contrast to the Allen family philosophy, where individual achievement always trumped collective success. Father still struggles with this concept, calling occasionally with suggestions about leveraging my position or capitalizing on the Allen name. He means well, in his limited way. Victoria surprised me most. Last month, she requested a tour of the lab, asking thoughtful questions about our research protocols. "I never understood what drove you," she admitted afterward, smoothing her immaculate blazer. "Maybe I still don't completely, but it's impressive, Mercy. It really is." Some relatives maintain their distance, comfortable in the old hierarchy. I've made peace with their absence. Tonight, we're celebrating FDA approval with a dinner I'm hosting for everyone who contributed to our success, from the custodial staff to our primary investors. The catering team arranges place settings around tables arranged in concentric circles, rather than a hierarchy of importance. Everyone who contributed sits at the main table. I instructed them, because there is only the main table. My phone rings Mother's ringtone. A year ago, I might have let it go to voicemail. Today, I answer. Mercy. Her voice carries the familiar crispness, but something softer edges the syllables of my name. I wanted to wish you congratulations before your celebration tonight. Thank you, I say simply, neither dismissing nor embracing the tentative olive branch. After we disconnect, I stand at the window overlooking the research park, where our scholarship recipients will soon begin their internships. Young scientists from unsupportive backgrounds who deserve the chance I nearly lost. The setting sun casts my silhouette against the glass, stretching my shadow across both my present success and the past exclusions that forged my determination. My fingers rest lightly on the prototype of our next innovation, a miniaturized version that will help thousands more. My name is Mercy Allen. I whisper to my reflection, and I belong exactly where I've built my place.